This is KVUE News Daybreak.
And the humidity continues here in Central Texas. Also talking rain shower chances. Just how much can we expect?
Drama at the Capitol, the final moments of the 85th legislative session. Explosive to say the least. So what got these lawmakers so fired up?
And a new plan from city leaders that could help drop rent prices across the city.
Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us for KVUE News Daybreak at 5 a.m. I'm Brian May.
And I'm Yvonne Nava. It is Tuesday, May 30th. And let's get a look at what we're tracking with Storm Team meteorologist Erica Lopez.
May 30th. Can you believe that? Almost the end of the month. We're entering into June. Hey, at least temperatures are remaining slightly under average for this time of the year. And that's some good news for us here in Central Texas. We're waking up to temperatures near 70 degrees today, give or take a couple of degrees this morning. Austin right now at 71. What we have seen in the last hour or two is some spotty showers develop across the hill country for Mason and Llano County. On the lower side, notice they've dwindled down, but that's going to be the case throughout our entire Tuesday, calling it a 20% chance of just those spotty isolated showers that will develop. And again, the hill country is my main concern for this afternoon. Still lots of clouds out there. Humidity will be on the high side, but notice the rain shower chances will remain for the western half of our viewing area. Here in Austin, 87 degrees is our forecasted high. Lots of clouds out there. We should end up with a partly sunny afternoon, meaning more clouds than sun, but some of those clouds should break apart, and still a 20% chance for an isolated shower. East-northeast wind coming in at 5 to 10 miles an hour. And Avita's keeping an eye on the roads this morning. Any accidents to talk about?
Yes, but let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is Mopac at 31st Street. Just want to remind you guys you're going to have an easy Tuesday morning. Construction is at a pause this morning, so no worries there. You can drive on straight to work without any problems. Let's go ahead and take a look at Wimberley. There is a structure fire that has shut down Ranch Road 12. So you can see here this is close to Wimberley Square. So it's basically the main artery of this town. It's shut down. You might want to take Red River to 279 as your alternate route this morning. So again, Ranch Road 12 has been shut down due to a structure fire in Wimberley this morning. Guys, back to you.
Annaby, thanks. And here's what we know about that fire Annaby just told us about that shut traffic down in Wimberley. This is in the city square there. According to the Wimberley View, the Cypress Creek Cafe there is burning. The fire started around 2 a.m. The owners got out of the building safely. We know that. We have a crew on the way there, and we'll bring you a live report and an update as soon as we get it. This again from the Facebook page there, the Wimberley View.
That is just racist behavior on our Texas House floor.
Texas lawmakers getting fired up and physical in the final hours of the legislative session yesterday. This morning, the fallout continues. ABC's Kenneth Moten reports it's all over the sanctuary cities legislation.
This morning, Texas House scuffle. Lawmakers at the state capitol Monday in a heated face-to-face, hurling death threats.
There was a threat made from Representative Rinaldi to put a bullet in one of my colleagues' head.
Democrats in a shoving match with Republicans. The reason? A massive protest in the building sparked by a tough new anti-sanctuary cities law in Texas. Tensions escalated when GOP Representative Matt Rinaldi told a group of Hispanic representatives that he had called ICE on demonstrators.
That is just racist behavior on our Texas House floor.
I just know they were saying stuff to me. I was saying stuff to them, both of them designed to incite each other. We were both all sides were emotional.
SB 4 signed into law by Governor Greg Abbott, a staunch President Trump supporter. The law threatens to jail or remove police chiefs and sheriffs from office for providing some protections to undocumented immigrants. Police can also ask the immigration status of anyone they stop. SB 4, which has protesters in Texas promising legal action, at the center of the debate over Trump's controversial immigration policies. Part of the president's executive order threatening to take dollars away from sanctuary cities, temporarily blocked in April by a federal court. A California judge called the president's executive order on sanctuary cities too broad. That chaos in the Texas House came on the last day of the session. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
While Senate Bill 4 managed to get the governor's signature, other bills did not make it that far, including the so-called bathroom bill. Well, here to break down the 2017 legislative session is KVUE's Corey Coffin, live from the state capitol this morning. Corey, good morning.
Well, good morning to you. Lawmakers ended yesterday without calling any additional days to the session, but that could change if the governor decides to call a special session, and that will depend on the items that failed and versus the items that passed. So let's get a rundown here of exactly what we're looking at for this past legislative session. Now, there's one bill in the Texas legislature that has to be passed every session. Of course, we've talked about this before. That is the budget, and lawmakers did that. In total, the House filed 4,333 bills and passed 654 of them. The Senate filed 2,298 bills and passed 485 of them. So of the more than 6,600 bills filed, only about 17% passed. Now, one of the more controversial bills that failed, Senate Bill 6, also known as the bathroom bill. That legislation sought to require people to use the restroom assigned to their sex at birth. Senate Bill 3 for private school choice also failed to pass, as did a bill seeking to overhaul the state's school finance system and legislation legalizing medical marijuana in some instances. Now, what did pass, though, is a bill regulating transportation networking companies that kind of ushered the way back in for Uber and Lyft to come back into the city of Austin, as well as a statewide texting while driving ban, state regulations restricting abortion laws even further, and child welfare reform. Also, another one I want to talk about is the highly anticipated Sandra Bland Act. That is also awaiting the governor's signature at this point. That regulates how jail deaths are investigated and how people with any sort of mental issues are brought into the system in the first place. Those are the items still currently waiting for the governor's signature. We'll continue to follow what he chooses to do in the next week as far as a special session goes. Brian Yvonne, back to you.
Corey, thanks a lot. A growing crisis inside the White House this morning. Some calling for President Donald Trump's son-in-law and top advisor Jared Kushner to take a leave of absence. Kushner under scrutiny for his contact with Russia. Some accusing him of trying to create a secret communication channel with Moscow, even after intelligence agencies found that Russia had meddled in the presidential election. Kushner not a target of the FBI's investigation, but they do plan on questioning him. The president is fighting back, coming to Kushner's aid. In a statement to the New York Times, President Trump said, quote, "Jared's doing a great job for our country. I have total confidence in him. He is respected by virtually everyone," end quote.
And President Trump is condemning North Korea's launch of yet another missile into the Sea of Japan on Sunday. The short-range missile flew hundreds of miles, landing in Japanese waters, and it's raising concern from one of America's closest allies. President Trump took to Twitter yesterday saying, quote, "North Korea has shown great disrespect for their neighbor, China, by shooting off yet another ballistic missile. But China is trying hard." And now many Americans fear that North Korea will one day be able to reach the U.S. with a nuclear missile.
The bottom line is it would be a catastrophic war if this turns into combat, if we're not able to resolve this situation through diplomatic means.
Japan's prime minister says he is now working with U.S. officials and will, quote, "take specific action to deter North Korea." New this morning, 5:07 is your time. Former Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega has died at 83 years old. And today we could learn the cause of death. President Juan Carlos Varela of Panama made the announcement about his death on Twitter just before midnight. The one-time U.S. ally was ousted as Panama's dictator by an American invasion back in 1989. Noriega later served a 17-year drug sentence in the U.S. He's accused, or rather, he accused Washington of a conspiracy to keep him behind bars. In January of this year, a court granted him house arrest to prepare for surgery on a brain tumor detected last year. He is survived by his wife and daughters.
Draft under code next. Austin's initiative to rewrite the land development code could lead to cheaper rent across the city. The draft would allow more homeowners to convert their garages into garage apartments, and more housing means more affordable living for families in the area. The city originally struck a compromise back in 2015 saying garage apartments would only be allowed to be built in certain types of zoning areas covering nearly 9,000 lots citywide. But the proposed changes under Code Next could double the amount of neighborhoods where it will be allowed. Officials at Seton Healthcare are investigating suspicious activity within their computer network. This comes after a threat was detected early Monday. Few details have been released, but Seton officials say no patients are affected by the issue.
Well, there is a severe weather threat in the south this morning from Atlanta to the Carolinas. Deadly flooding in Missouri over the weekend killed at least 2 people. 1 person is still missing. There was more than 570 reports of severe weather across the country on Saturday alone, making it the second most active day of the year. Let's take a look at our forecast to see what we have in store. Here's Erica Lopez.
Well, all is quiet here in central Texas. What we are seeing are still some isolated shower chances and also lots of humidity out there. It's kind of sticky as you're heading out the door. Here's a look at your current temperatures. We're near 70 throughout the entire viewing area. Current temperature right now in Austin, 71 degrees, but if not, give or take a couple degrees, lots of upper 60s out there. Across the entire Lone Star State, our coolest spot is across the Panhandle and western Texas right now. Amarillo in the lower 50s and quite comfortable right now for El Paso, San Angelo, and Lubbock in the 60s temperature-wise. Radar, this is what I'm talking about. The last couple of hours, we had some isolated cells from Mason to Llano County. That was between 1 and about 3 a.m. They've since dwindled down, but that's going to kind of be the case the entire Tuesday. What we can expect here, mainly throughout the hill country, that 20% chance of showers will remain, but will convert the mostly cloudy start to a day to a partly sunny afternoon. So more clouds than sun out there is expected, but that's also expecting to keep our highs under 90 degrees today. So about 87 degrees is your forecasted high here in Austin. Again, a 20% chance of showers, but guys, the best chance for that rain will be across the hill country. Back to you.
Erica, thanks. Okay, do you feel guilty taking days off of work?
Not at all.
Well, if you're unlike Yvonne and I, and you do, you're not alone. A new study found 54% of Americans did not use all of their vacation days last year. Most people say it's because they did not want to lose out on a promotion or a raise. But here's what's interesting. Researchers say people who used all their vacation time actually had a slightly better chance of getting ahead at work. So the moral to the story is take your vacation days. They're there for you.
This is such a good topic because I feel like you have to recharge your batteries from time to time. And I can always tell when I need a vacation or when you need a vacation,
You can probably tell, really,
but
when I need a vacation.
There's nothing wrong with it. Then after a while, you come back and you feel fresh as a daisy, after taking a day off.
So for that reason, I will be off July this year. We'll see you in August.
You do have a lot of time off.
Still ahead, most of you will head to the river this summer, but a new rule could impact tourists.
What a judge is saying about the so-called can ban and what the city's mayor is saying as well.
And the former #1 golfer in the world back in the headlines today for all the wrong reasons. Tiger was arrested for a DUI, but he says he wasn't drunk. We'll have his response after the break.